Hey Exiles, it's been a while and today I'd like to share my first impressions of the new PoE league and talk about my league start. So the league start itself was much smoother than previous one, thanks to a different balance approach from GG. We are getting a lot more rewards at the beginning, especially because there are more orb types dropping around. It's a bit strange how often GG changes its mind about design philosophy, but I guess we are here as volunteers to test it, which is fine. A great addition to the leveling process is, of course, a new fort and interlude acts that serve as a bridge to the endgame. Some say these maps are overkill and too large, but for me, I didn't really notice it. Mainly thanks to the new sprint ability, which is clunky by design. It takes some time to get used to it, but after a few hours it feels like a second nature. The level design and new bosses and enemy types are all top notch, and bringing back the old Abyss mechanic is just a cherry on the top. But of course, there is a catch. Once again, we are swarmed with hundreds of enemies, each throwing out heavy visual effects. So most Abysses rare leave behind the ground effects that are almost impossible to see. So classic GG, right? On one hand, you get amazing density and tons of new monsters, but on the other hand, you risk getting one-shotted while your FPS tanks to a single digits. So that's one of the reasons I ended up switching to Chaos spells during the campaign. At first, I wanted to test what GGG had changed with Incinerate, since that was my old Chronomancer build. And oh boy, yeah, we are back to a drawing board. It just feels clunkier now and there's no real payoff unless you dump a ton of investment into gear, which isn't realistic at the league start. Thinking about it more, the issue isn't really the numbers, it's just how fire spells are tied together. I don't even mind pressing 5 buttons every few seconds, but the gameplay just doesn't feel satisfying. Originally, I also wanted to try out the new Arcan passives along with Infusion, but of course the Infusion has to be collected first, which is yet another step just to upgrade your firepower. And honestly, sometimes the reward feels pretty mediocre to the effort you put in. A good example is the Flame Archon, which goes on a massive cooldown after the buff expires. That really feels like a lazy design, or they don't really have much time to think about it. I mean, it's early access, so we'll see. From what I've seen, the other Archons don't fare much better. Some are decent, but overall they are clunky and very conditional. I spent maybe 10 hours during the campaign trying to make the Chronomancer's fire build work. I even tested the new keystone that converts fire damage into chaos, which was actually a big DPS boost because I didn't have to rely on Arcan's passive anymore. But even with that, the playstyle just wasn't fun. Killing even a blue pack started to feel like a chore. And to make matters worse, the FPS issues from the new Abyss encounters were the final straw. And this is on a pretty strong PC that should handle any modern game without breaking a sweat. So yeah, now Chaos Contagion for the win. Now I can just 2-tap an entire screen of Abyss monsters and suddenly the game feels fun again. So for my ascendancy I went with Chronomancer. I guess it's my favorite class just because of all the slowing shenanigans. Sure, it's not exactly top tier when it comes to the raw damage, but I really enjoy the unique defensive mechanics it brings, the slowing down the enemies on top of the temporal chains, and the recoup that make us pretty tanky along with Sacrosanctum body armor. I was also curious about the new cards, but the devil is in the details. The stats aren't impressive at the first glance. It can't trigger ailments, which is shame. Maybe at some point I'll test it in a dedicated bossing setup, but for now it feels underwhelming, at least for what I'm trying to achieve here. On top of that, GGG decided to bring back everyone's favorite pendulum style design for the Chrono, so we lost Unleash and instead we get either faster casting or bigger AoE. In the end though, it does translate into decent damage boost for totems, which absolutely shred bosses and tougher rares. And after a few days I made into tier 15 maps, and honestly the mapping experience has been pretty smooth. Right now my gear investment is sitting at around 5 divines, with most of that sunk into the new wand. Before that I cleared almost everything with just 1x wand. So if you're curious, you can check my gear here and full build in the description. Even with a weaker one, this build should be able to handle the first wave of endgame bosses. At this stage they feel pretty easy. Probably even my old fire version Chrono could take them down. Overall, I'm really enjoying the new league. There's a ton of quality of life improvements, some big changes to the passive tree, and of course asynchronous trading. So even if it requires a stash tab, has been a total game changer for me. Though I'll admit, half the time my muscle memory still sends me to the website to trade. Hopefully GGG will address spell balance in the upcoming updates. For now I'll be sticking with chaos spells and pushing towards the pinnacle bosses. Once I get there, you can expect a full build guide from me. So that's all for now. See ya.